used to have a real screen is really bad. It looks really bad with a projector.
I'm sorry.
With a projector, it looks very bad compared to a real.
Yeah, it always looks.
Always disappointing.
Projectors make things look kind of washed out, and it's nice.
Yeah.
It's too bad. People put like so much work into all of these images and pictures, and then you get these projected screens like, oh, it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
Happens with all the tractography pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
They look so nice on your computer and on your screen, and then you put them on this.
Yeah, when I have pictures, like,
oh, there is only one person.
I make it similar.
Don't intimidate me.
So I don't know.
Maybe Danielle said maybe she was coming. I saw them. Okay. Depends. Maybe she was gonna receive a call. I mean,
Oh, did she say? Maybe
yeah.
I could check.
I mean, let's hear. Wait.
You bring your Thunderbolt.
It's for us. Yeah, we have one here.
And this is PGA, the other. No?
Yeah.
Thunderbolt to PGA.
Yeah.
But to switch this off, you have to go there. You
Yeah.
don't have any other choice. You have to switch it.
Yeah.
There is no.
No, they used to have one. No, not anymore.
Well, I guess it's better in this way, or you want to open the
Yeah,
window
we don't see anything if it's open the window.
or the light.
We can try.
Oh well, they didn't bring a laptop.
Yeah.
I mean, because light.
I thought about it this morning, and then I got into my car and drove 15 minutes and said, "Ah, bring me that."
It's such a nice day today.
Yeah.
It remembers me other places.
I want to go on vacation though. When I get sunny, I want to go find some beach somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Soon enough, it will be summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, what happens here is that it's switching to full hot
Yeah.
from
It's
full
not a
cold.
gradual change.
Yeah.
It just goes from 50 degrees to 90.
Yes. But this week seems to be good.
Yeah.
Next few days it's going to be
It's much better.
secure.
Do you have any plans for a vacation this summer?
I don't know, do we have vacation in summer?
Yeah, you can.
Because I started to work
Oh,
yesterday.
right, yeah, you have to build up some
Yeah,
Right.
days.
Maybe Miami is the best place.
Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, because I have family there,
Ah, okay.
and friends, a lot of friends.
I went there once.
Yeah.
When I arrived there, I was like, it's snowing here. I thought, why I'm in Boston, not in Miami?
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, many rich people in Brazil are buying, well, also South America, are buying houses in Miami,
Yeah.
and they have recovered, the economy have recovered their base of that. There has been a finance, I don't know how to say it.
Finance.
Again, the housing or the real estate
Okay.
is again
Right.
resurging.
Right, so the house prices are going up again.
Because of so many people from South America.
So one of the ways my brother makes his living is he buys houses. And the price is really low, and he fixes them up and rents them out for a while. And
Well, that's
whenever,
a nice business.
yeah, well, he's a software engineer, and he works in in startup companies that always seem to fail. And so every time the company fails, he says, "Oh, well, I'll just sell another house." He's extremely amusing. Yes, he doesn't have a family or anything, so he just goes around and he's like free as can be and buys his houses and sells them when he's when he's running out of money, he's like, okay, I'll sell that one.
Yeah, and also in Florida is a nice place for people who are retired because of the weather.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't have heating costs, but they have air conditioning costs. So I don't know how much cheaper it is.
Well, depends. I mean, Miami is really hot, but maybe the north of Florida is not so bad.
Yeah, maybe.
Temperature is.
A lot of people.
What?
Here is the class. You can practice it.
It's just a reflex.
You
If you want to access the network, you use TCH.
Not TCH.
I use TCH. I'm supposed
What?
to hit your laptop. You're supposed to.
It was, and I think I did it.
got a very nice family.
Yeah.
So at some point it might send you an email like we saw you use your laptop. But I think it's fine because you can encrypt it. You show them it's encrypted, and after you cancel if you want, they think it's still encrypted. I think so.
I can't even join TCH. Do you think that's because it's not encrypted?
No, you should be working. Because your CH one, which I did, you tried to go with, which I did, you used.
It's just
And it's
my oldest daughter.
I think it's
Suggested that I her in the put somebody
CH, nothing. CH.
for money.
I mean, the choice is between the Samsung Galaxy
We're
and
not
the HTC. I like big phones. And I like to do it. And other things get latest. They came much later than.
Okay, guys, should we,
Yeah.
everybody?
Oh. Okay, so welcome everybody. So today we're gonna today is the second version of second episode of our Unix series, and we are gonna try to teach you how you should be using the cursor. Let's restart. Okay, so today, first of all, we'll just go through the last session. We'll try to remind you how everything works, and so everything is fresh. And then, so we will go inside the real topic for today. What is a cluster? Why you should use it, and hopefully we'll convince you that you should use it. And after, we will show you how you can use it. And finally, we will we will help you through a real use case in a hands-on session. So if you remember last time, the file system is organized in a very defined hierarchy. And at the top of the hierarchy, we have the root, which is the base of our file system. This is the most top-level directory. So if you want to go to your root directory, you can just do cd/ and you are at the top. And from there, you can access the whole computer. So you also have your home directory, which contains basically all your personal data. To access your home directory, you can just type cd in a terminal. And when you do so, you can see the location of your working directory changes. And so from there, after, you can access, as I said, all your personal data.
So I was going to jump in. So
Yeah.
that depends kind of on how things are set up on your machine. So if you're on a Mac and you type cd in a terminal and pwd, it will actually not, it won't say home in your name, it will say users in your name. So Macs have the word users instead of the word home. Linux systems have the word home. And on our system over here, whether you're on Mac or Linux, if you're logged into the network, your home directory will actually say /neuro/users/ whatever.
No Windows.
No Windows.
But that's if you're not being
/neuro/users.
On the Gab lab, no, it'll also go to neuro users and then your name, but your actual location where the file's actually living is somewhere else. It's actually neuro labs, Gab lab, users.
I thought I had a slide for that, but yeah, as Rudolf just said, in our case here we have a special directory which is called neuro, and all of your network accounts are all of your homes directory are actually located inside /neuro/users/ your username. And basically this directory contains all the research /lab /everything, all the data, basically, all the research related data we have here at VCH. So here are a few commands we used in the last hands-on sessions. I guess you remember most of them, but it was just to have a exhaustive list. Like, if you forget something, you can go there. I mean, I'm sure if you go on the internet, you will find them, and definitely with a better explanation. But I think that's it, pretty much like everything we used last time. So last time we also talked about the permissions. So if you want to look at the permission of a single file, you can type ls-als, and basically it's going to tell you everything you want. I mean, it's going to tell you everything you can know about this file. And what matters to us in this case regarding the permissions is this part there, r, w, x, r, blah, blah, blah. And that's what tells us which are the permissions for this file. And in this case, we have a rwx, which means the user has a read, write, and execute permissions. We have r dash dash, which means the group only has read permission. And we have r dash dash, which means all the rest of the people can just read this file as well.
Does that make sense to everyone? Because that's kind of crucial to how to just get an idea what file permissions are.
So the first 3 letters is the user's permission. The next 3 letters are the group's permission. And the last 3 letters are all the rest of all the others' permission.
So let me just explain that again. So on a Unix file system, there are 3 kind of general levels of access. First one is you yourself. Any file that you create, the directory that you create, will be in the first group, the first RWXs, and that defines what you can do. You can do anything. Every user also belongs to a group or multiple groups. So in this case, you can see Nicolas belongs to a group called Ellen. And the next bunch of permissions define what everyone else in that group can do. So right now, the second RWX is there's just an R, which means everyone in the Ellen group can also read that file, but they want people to write it or change it. And only people in the Ellen group, or that group only pertains to them. So like if Bryce were to try and look at the file and she's actually a different group, then those permissions wouldn't be applicable to her. However, in this particular case, you see the final RWX, that's everyone else in the world of your computer. Everyone else, every other user who's on the system is controlled by those final bit of permissions. So in this case, the fact that there's an R there means that every single person on the system is able to read that file. Right. So that's what. So it's those three groupings: it's yourself, your group, and everyone else. That's what.
Yeah. So also as a quick reminder, so there is a mapping in the Unix world between those letters, read, write, and execute, and numbers, and that's how it works. Basically, you have the R, which is 4, the W, which is 2, the X, which is 1. And if you see RWX, you can it's the same as 7. If you have just a R dash dash, it's the same as 4. If it's RW dash, it's 4 plus 2 plus 0 basically equals 6. So it's just a quick reminder. So if you get confused, you can always go back to this slide, because sometimes you do a change mode 777 and you don't know what it's doing. So that's actually what it's doing. The first 7 means the user will have a read, write, execute. The second 7 means the same thing for the group, and the last 7 means the same thing for the outside world.
It's a very kind of easy shortcut, but that's usually so that you can just type 3 numbers and it sets permissions for the file. So probably you won't ever end up using it, but just so that you know how it works, you can use that.
Yeah, it's a good shortcut.
The main use is when you write a script and you want to run it. That is a constant use in which you need to change the verdict for the script to execute.
Or if you just want to do it quickly, like let's say Bryce wants to make a file or a directory accessible that she created to Danielle, and then she just types chmod 777 directory name, and then everyone on the system is able to do it.
So just a use case, for instance, about permissions. So let's say we have a file called file name, which has those permissions here. So what do you do if you want to add the group, write permission, and if you want to add the others group, write permission? You would just call change mode group plus W, comma others plus W. And if you do so, you can see the permissions are changing for this file. So now now we have this W and we have this W. So it means now your people who are in the same group as you are can write the file as well. And actually, everybody can write the file. And what about the numbers? So we just saw 700 means you can do everything and nobody else can not do anything. So you can change the permission of a file using those numbers as well. So in this case, if you do a change mode 700 file name, it's going to change the permissions of the file to the following there. RWX for yourself and close for everybody else.
So if you weren't going to use that kind of shortcut, you would probably have to say chmod U for yourself, user, plus RWX, comma G for the group, G minus RWX, comma O minus RWX.
Yeah, so if you know what you want, you can just do that and it's much faster. And a quick note on ownership, on file ownership. So when we do ls minus als, we also see that, so in this case, I own this file, and this is my group. What if I want to give Jorge the ownership of this file, so he can do everything he wants with this file, and this file doesn't belong to me anymore, it belongs to him. I can just call change own or change owner. So I put the target username, target group, and the name of the file I want to modify, and that's it. You just run this command, and after you see, it's gonna update the user, the owner, and the group. Yeah. All right. I think we just go like that. Something is wrong with the network, so we'll just go this way. So okay, so now we can really go on for today's topic, which is a cluster. So we'll tell you what is a cluster, and it starts again. So here is a quick definition from Wikipedia, which actually defines pretty well what a cluster is. So a cluster, or actually in our case a computer cluster, consists of a set of loosely connected or tightly connected computers that can work together so that in many respects they can be viewed as a single system. So basically it's a bunch of computers which are making a big one system which is much more powerful, and we'll show you how. So here at Children's we have our cluster, which is a bit different, I mean, which varies a little bit from the definition. It's a bit more flexible, I would say. So here at Children's, we can use a cluster as a very powerful computer, as it is supposed to be used. But we allow you to use the computers which are making this cluster as single computer.
So that distinction is very important. You can only think of the cluster as one computer. Only if you use the scheduler, and I'll show you what the scheduler is. So up until now, if you haven't been using the scheduler, which most people you haven't been using it as a cluster. You've just been using each individual machine in the cluster as a computer, just like but you haven't been using it as a cluster.
Yeah, and actually what you have been doing is a very unique use case, which is not allowed in most of infrastructures. Let's say at MGH, they will not allow this kind of behavior. So. So yeah, as Rudolf just said, if you don't use a scheduler, and we will tell you what a scheduler is very soon. You are not using a cluster. You are just using a single machine. And for instance, if somebody tells us MATLAB is not working on the cluster, the licenses are not working on the cluster, it's not very helpful because you are not using the cluster, you are using a single machine. So it's better to tell us, I tried to run MATLAB on this machine and it didn't work. So we can help you with that. So basically what a scheduler is just a piece of software which will manage all the connection between all the computers, and which will manage how your jobs are being sent, being run on the cluster for you. So it's just a piece of software which will take care of everything for you. I mean, we can, if you want more details after, we can go through more details, but we just want to keep it very general. So here we have two clusters, and very soon we will connect them into one big one. The one you are the most familiar with, I guess, is this one, the old generation, which has 5 computers, which are running HP J6 blades. And we have a new one we recently got, I think it was in December. So I think now this one is fully functional as well. So you should be able to connect on those machines, and they are much more powerful than the previous one. And I just said you should be able to connect to those machines, but actually you shouldn't. You should use the scheduler to do this kind of. So yeah.
So actually right now if you use Chris system, then it actually runs the stuff for you on the new cluster. That's what it uses.
Okay, so hopefully now you kind of have some idea about what a cluster is, or what it's supposed to be. So basically it's like a system which connects a lot of computers to make it much more powerful, and to to use a cluster, you should talk to it via a scheduler. Okay, so okay, that's very nice, but why should I use it, right? So let's see. So we can do a quick survey to see how you are using the system right now, and we see if you are doing it in the right way or not. So let's say you want to run 5 analyses. How do you do right now? You do it one by one using MATLAB on a GUI. B, you use a cluster, or C, you do something else. So I guess in general, is anyone doing B by any chance? Or A? A maybe? A. So I guess the correct answer should have been B. So let's say what do you do if you have 500 analyses? B? You are doing B actually already?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess people don't know how to use B, but people should be doing B right now. But I think right now you just go for A, and I mean it takes more time, but whatever. Okay, so a few more questions, 2 more. So let's say you are connecting to one of the computers on the cluster, and it's feeling slow, like many people. So you just log into another machine and hope it's going to work better, right? So that would never happen if you are using a cluster. You don't have to worry about, oh, this computer is too busy. The scheduler will manage everything for you. You just tell the scheduler, I want to do that, and he will do it for you. And one last thing, which happens a lot, you might have some MATLAB licenses issue sometimes. And yeah, so most of the time you have to find a machine which works, which has MATLAB activated, or you have to tell us, as MATLAB is not working on this computer, can you please activate it? And if you are using a cluster in the right way, you would not have to worry about MATLAB anymore. About MATLAB licenses anymore.
The previous slide, I remember at the Martino Center, people were not very friendly when you log into the machine and run analysis there.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what we just said. Basically, the cluster is going to help you to take care of everything, so you don't have to worry about anything. So let's say you want to run hundreds of jobs, you just send your job to the cluster, and he will run it when there is some resources available for you. And if you just have 5 jobs, you should still be using the cluster. So right now we have about 50 users on the cluster. So you might think, oh, okay, it's only 5 jobs, so I can connect to MATLAB and do it. It's okay, you know. But so we have 10 machines, 50 users. So it's 5 users per machine. So if everybody is doing only 5 jobs on each machine, it's gonna slow things down a lot, and your computer will be too busy. So you will try to log in another computer, which is, it's very cumbersome. So for sure, the best practice is to use a cluster anytime, as much as it's possible. And yeah, no more MATLAB license issue. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you are convinced that you should use a cluster, kind of. So how do you use a cluster actually? So now we'll just go very quickly through the big idea, big picture, and in the hands-on session we will do it step by step. So we will submit a job to the cluster in the right way. So you shouldn't be using the cluster, the computers which are sitting on the cluster to check your emails, to surf the web, of course. NX, X2Go, MATLAB GUI, of course, we allow it, but it would be better if nobody was using that. But we know sometimes you have to, so that's why we authorize it. But best would be no GUI at all. Yeah, so the machine should never be used as a regular desktop computer. And the idea of a cluster is to run analysis, expensive one most of the time. Yeah. So it's only a two-step process almost. So let's say you have some MATLAB code you want to run. So you should just be able to compile it or wrap it in a bash script, submit this piece of code to the Mosix scheduler, and it should just run for you. Should be that easy. And it's actually that easy. So we talk a lot about the Mosix scheduler, I know, but I mean, you will understand it. Oh. So the Mosix scheduler, so it's a software which manages everything for you. So using this scheduler, you can submit jobs, you can check the status of the cluster, and you can check the status of the queue to know if your job is queued or if your job is running, or so you know what's going on. And you can also terminate a job if you started an analysis and you realize some parameters were wrong, you can just remove it from the queue. Let's see. So basically, that's all the commands you should know to use a Mosix scheduler. So the first step is always the same one. You should always log into a computer which is part of the cluster. And once you are in one of the computers which form the cluster, you are in the cluster. Once you are there, you can type mosmon, which is gonna tell you the current status of the cluster. Mosmon is for Mosix monitor. So in this case, we have 7 computers on the cluster, and it's gonna tell you the load on each of the computer. So as you can see, in this case, it was not very busy. So if you start a job, you can expect the job to start very soon. Let me go to this one, MosQ for Mosix queue. And what it does, this one is going to tell you the status of the queue. So there I did a MosQ, and as you can see, the queue is empty, so that's good news. If I do something, it's just going to run. It's not going to be queued after hundreds of jobs which are being submitted already. Okay, let's go back to mosbatch. So that's what we use to submit a job to the cluster. We call mosbatch -q to enforce the queuing, -v to tell Mosix that please run my job on the best available node. After you put the command, and that's it. Once you do that, your job will be pushed in the queue, and when you have enough resources available, it's just gonna run. Yeah, this one is important. And the last one is moskilol. You might not have to use it at all, but if you want to cancel a job, you can just call moskilol -j and the ID of the job. All right. So now you might feel a bit scared, but it should be fine. So in the hands-on session now, we will just walk you through all the steps, and hopefully after that you will not be scared of using the cluster anymore. Okay. Yeah, I can do it.
So that's a tutorial session. So anyone who has a laptop wants to just do a quick example. We'll work on these if you're actually.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody have any question so far? Yeah.
One is there any more efficient way, like for example for us, we have to use the network really all the time. Well, not all the time, but so we're in the process of converting a lot of the stuff we did just script form.
Yeah.
So like this would be great to like move it towards this like maybe. But for example, some of the stuff we have to use the GUI.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's any better way for us to be doing that. How we could talk about it after the very nice.
Or that you have any suggestion?
I think we should have a local machine in our lab to do the GUI stuff.
Well, you can run it on any machine. You can assume that on any machine because Moscow has licenses.
Yeah.
So if you need to do GUI kind of stuff, ideally the best thing is to do it on the machine. It will always be quicker and more responsive for start. If you run it over the network, if you run the GUI from one of the cluster nodes, then that machine is sitting in Eden, so it's drawing all the way from Eden to your screen here. So it will be slow and sluggish. But if you want to, if you're finding that your analysis, whatever you're doing, it's needing a GUI all the time. Like I don't know if you're doing a VPN for open this here and this, then that kind of job is not a candidate to run in Australia.
Yeah. So you should be running this locally.
You should be running it locally.
Machine.
And if you're doing it a lot, right,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, then what you should do is you should rewrite that entire workflow so that it is non-interactive. That would be the idea.
One more question. Is 5 like the max number of jobs you would send to the scheduler? Is that what you were saying? Or are you saying that like if you have 5 jobs you should send them? Like is there a max number we should send
No,
them?
there is no max.
I think you were just saying that if you have 5 jobs, you might think, oh, okay, I'll just look quickly on the machine, which you can do.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to come crashing down on the door. But if you just have 5 jobs to do, it's just good practice to throw in the schedule anyway, if you want.
Oh yeah, my point was just like if everybody has 5 jobs to do at the same time, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So when you say like don't overload the cluster, you mean don't like run
Don't
5 things on one computer.
Yeah.
Send it to the scheduler.
Without
so
the send it to the scheduler. Yeah. As much as possible.
What I do encounter is even you have MATLAB installed in a local machine,
Yeah.
it's very slow to access the networking data. It's really compared to where I came from, Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
As long as we are internal networking,
Yeah.
even access my network data, it's much faster.
There is very slow to access.
Yeah, I think so. If I use GUI interface, it's kind of similar anyway.
With your local MATLAB.
It takes a while to really load in.
Wait,
That's
say
why.
that again?
Even the suggestion is we have our MATLAB installed in the local machine, but the way is how the data was accessed, it was in the network folder. It takes a while to load in the data itself. Compared to in Cincinnati Children's, we have much faster network. I don't know why, but I guess it's different.
Wait, compared to children's? I don't understand.
Yeah, because I originally worked in Cincinnati Children's Hospital. We have our internal website, like the internal data access to, and then we usually do the GUI in the actual local machine.
Yes.
They'll access the data in the network. But that compared to speed here and then what I got over there, it's much different.
Yeah, well,
I
you
don't
can't
know
control the
because-
networks. I mean, it just makes sense, right? If your data is sitting on a machine in Eden, and you're working on it from here, obviously there's going to be network delay to load it in.
Yeah,
So-
but if you access the public data, which is actually only I restore the documentation, much faster. So I was just saying the data stored in the networking is different with documents that files restoring another network.
Yes.
So I feel the difference between even the two
Oh.
networks.
That's quite possible, because remember, you're living in 2 different worlds. If you're in the Windows world, you're using Windows to try and talk to a Unix network. So you're going through lots of layers of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're experiencing a delay because you're trying to get to the data that's sitting maybe on an NFS, on a Unix file server, and you're trying to read it into Windows. That could be.
Yeah, that's my actually.
So what is a way around that? Well, there isn't a real way around it. If you want to process your data on the cluster, it has to be the Unix side. There's no way. So you might develop it locally, and it might be a bit slow to load it in, but once you've developed your script and you've made it automatic, then the network delay shouldn't be an issue, right?
Yeah, so that's why I'm thinking if to avoid a network delay, so you have to have a local like Linux machine, you said, to avoid this like transparent like double like
that
talking between the
yes,
system.
that could be.
Yeah.
And there is also, I don't know, the gap that they have a better.
We have
that's
one.
The other thing. The other thing, of course, is you guys are sitting on a slow network.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other problem. All of your network jacks in the wall are 100 megabits per second, which is extremely slow.
That is, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So what we did in our office is it took a while. The very first time it took a while. The second time it was much quicker. You have to send in a request to network engineering. I don't know. It goes through all the levels of the bureaucracy, and they can if you say you need it, they just need to flip a switch. And then it goes from 100 megabits per second to 1 gigabit. So then it
That
becomes
must be different.
10 times quicker.
Yeah, 100 megabytes is not even faster than my home network.
Yeah.
Like 110.
That's what that person
So I mean, actually, sorry, that would make. So then, even in that case, probably the fact that you're on Windows, Unix, that's probably not an issue anymore if you're on a network. That's 10 times quicker.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, if you want to test that, you can just come in our room and plug your laptop and see if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Right. So, how do you do this?
Cool.
Sorry.
I mean, you want to do it or?
Oh no,
Well,
you can go ahead. So,
yeah, go ahead.
all right. So, who wants to just give this whole thing just a quick whirl? If you have your laptop, you might just try it. If you don't have your laptop, you can hang around and watch other people try, or you can wave and go back to your desk, whatever you want to do. I mean, it's pretty much over. You just want to show people what to do if they're interested.
I know some great Oh, I have
Yeah.
one more question. So can you log into any cluster node, it doesn't matter, or is it
Doesn't
only
matter.
specific ones?
Any of them.
Okay, the new ones are the old ones. This
Uh,
was a new one, but I usually would use.
yeah, so right now we have 2 different clusters. So if you log into an old machine, if you start a job there, it's going to run on the old cluster.
Okay.
If you log into the new machine, it's going to run in the new cluster. But very soon, yeah.
That'll within 2 weeks.
And so which ones? The new?
So all the names that you know and love, those guys are the old ones. There's other lists, the new ones. So those machines are much more powerful, they have much more memory, and they have quicker processors. They'll be able to do. So those names at the bottom, you can actually do it right now. You can log into them, and it will work. It's exactly the same as the other one. Okay, so
There is a tab open.
okay, right. So is everyone on the network who wants to give this a try? And Bryce, do you have a terminal?
It's a Linux machine.
Oh,
Wow.
So the first thing to do is just SSH into. You can even go to. Let's go to one of the new
Do
machines.
we have MATLAB activated for the computer?
Yeah, but I don't know if we need to. Oh,
yeah,
it's
let's see.
inside. It might be a bit too complicated. All right, well, let's do that. Let's go to Dr. No. SSH into Dr. No as we.
So you have a script doing that complete processing. Let's say you call it, I don't know what they call it, but you make like a computer and calling it. All you do is before that, CC mod batch.
Oh.
Make sure you're typing.
And then whatever command we usually use in the terminal.
It's the same
So we're not doing. Oh, okay.
So it's like running any command, like for like make a job like one of the scripts, or for example, I ran this on the line.
Probably here.
And all I do is like
Well, but you can log again.
instead of saying like, you know, requirements, you just say mod batch.
Yeah. There is an extra step which is a compilation. You can also compile the MATLAB code. So if you compile it, it doesn't need a license anymore.
Ah.
If you don't compile, we'll show you.
Oh yeah, that's what I would like to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, the advantages are threefold. Actually, you don't have to write a shell script. You don't use other licenses, MATLAB licenses.
Okay, so should we do that?
Yeah.
Can run in machines that doesn't have MATLAB upgrade. The machine that doesn't.
We actually log in as me, so I know the files
This is
are.
a really nice way. The only way that
Okay. I'm gonna. All right, so did everybody log in? Back now. All right, so once you've. Should we try that? Okay, should we try that example script? I'm just going to do this. Okay, so if you're logged in, you can start. It's already logged in. So document.
I couldn't get on the network, so I'm starting. I couldn't get on the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, mine was good.
I was in the cache and I just didn't.
So right now you're only on directly. Oh, I don't know why that happened. Let me try to
Let me try one second.
do that.
The Wi-Fi doesn't work.
I think it's easy.
All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is type. We're going to have we have a simple example to try. So type cd MATLAB. That'll take you into the MATLAB directory in your home. If it doesn't work, let me know. Everybody with that? Yeah.
Yeah, CD MATLAB. Yeah, yes, CD.
Okay, and we're just going to copy this little dummy little example to your MATLAB directory. Type cp neuro temp invtest.m dot. Let me do it again, please. Type that in. So that means copy a file called invtest.m and the to where I currently am. So it's going to copy it like that.
Permissions and you guys say anything.
I think
Why
maybe,
didn't let me copy?
because we're gathered.
Because you're not in the Telegram group.
Okay, so let's see if this is a. Okay, does everyone? So here's a quick example. So you guys see why it didn't work? Why you couldn't copy it?
Oh yeah, we can see the permissions.
Okay, so what would I? Okay, so what should I do to make it that you guys can read it as well?
What?
777.
Yeah, you have to open it to all.
Sorry.
You have to open it to all, right? Because you can't just like, you can't have it open to more than one group. That makes
Yeah, no, this file belongs to just one group. That's a limitation. So I can say chmod, right? And I could say 777 INV test.
We can do 664.
Yes, so that will do is it'll make everything read write X, read write X, read write X. So that's actually overkill because the X means a file that you can run. And this file isn't a file that you can ever run. This is just a file with commands, with stuff from MATLAB. So it can never run. So actually, and although this might look a little bit evil, you can say 666. Because what that will do, 6 means read write, so it'll be read write, read write, read write. Now you can see it's read write, read write, read write. So now you'll be able to copy it to your MATLAB directory. Mm-hmm.
How, like, if maybe doesn't have permission to see it, easily from all, how can she change permissions?
The owner has to change.
The owner has to change.
Oh,
Only the owner.
Oh, I thought she, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
can
thought. I thought that you just did.
No, I didn't.
So only the
Okay, so you
owner,
just-
or alternatively the super user, which is root, and change it. Okay, so everyone's done that? So everyone is in the MATLAB directory, and you can copy that file over. Right? Okay, let's just quickly look what that little dummy test example does. So if you type less invtest.m, it's just going to, less is a quick way to just see what's inside the file without having to open anything up. So these things with the little percent signs are just description. They don't mean anything. If you go to the very bottom, keep going, this is all it is, just a couple of lines. And all that this program will do is it'll make a random matrix of a given size, and then it's going to invert it. So it just, all it does is it creates a random matrix and it inverts it for a number of loops. So it's just a test program, just to show you the example. All right, so let's go into MATLAB. So we can say MATLAB minus V 2014A.
Q. Yes, Q.
Q. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's just do this step over here, which is in the wiki. We're going to do this compiled example as a test. You know what we should... Actually, let's do one more thing. Instead of, we're currently in the MATLAB directory, and we copied the file into there. Let's make another folder and just put it in there so we have a nice little workspace that doesn't interfere with, mess things up, and make it untidy. So let's just make a directory, mkdir. We'll call it, let's say, just cluster. All right? And now let's move the file we just copied. We want to use it as an example. Let's move it into that directory. Does anyone have a quick idea of how to do that? Yeah, you just say move. So you say mv, move the file. The file is invert test.m. And where do we want to move it to? We want to move it into the directory you just created called cluster. You don't need that slash at the end, by the way. So that statement says move it into there, right? And now we can say cd into there, into that directory. And if we do an ls, we can see there's the file that we want to work with. Okay. Right, it's over.
Yeah, I'm just going to follow along here.
Oh, it's not working.
No, I'm
Fine. No. Okay, so now if you look on the wiki page over here, it says running on the cluster, and it tells you, okay, let's do this thing, this command. So we're going to do .neuro-fs stable. Okay, and the reason we do that is because it just sets up a whole bunch of, that's called environment variables that MATLAB is going to use when we compile it. So you just do this once. And this is also, by the way, sets you up running free server and all that other stuff. Oh, it was just a shortcut. It means set up system.
Yes.
And
By default, you are doing
if your
you do that
terminal
before?
is black,
Or you always do that?
Every time I do
then I made another one called SSC with a black terminal. I don't know. I should have made it a B, and that changes the color of the directories.
Because like I can't call stable unless I do.
You have to first do yes. You first do SS or SSC. If you have a white terminal, you can just say SS because then the colors it uses are work better on the white. If you have a black terminal, use SSC.
Is there a way when you do sometimes using X to go with the Windows machine?
Sorry.
When you use it with like a Windows machine, like
I did it earlier.
terminal's black, but
Yes.
it like gives you every single time you press like a new
all
line,
the-
it gives you the entire. It's really annoying. The way to get rid of that.
Yeah.
It like shows you the entire thing, it takes up an entire line.
Yeah. Have you done Did you do SSC in that case?
Yeah.
Then you can show me. 'Cause
Yeah. I don't have it now.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Has everyone done that? Are we
Yes.
up to happy? We're happy as we can be doing this kind of stuff. All right. So now it's the next thing is CD to the part of the script which we're already there, right? We're already in the directory with our script that we wanted to use. Okay, actually not running on the cluster. Let's go up here. Okay, sorry. This is a wiki page. It's a bit big over here. Okay, so here's the MATLAB function we're working on. So here's the sections how to prepare it. So what we're going to do now is...
So for the compiling standalone, you need to write another wrapper script.
Okay, so this is now going to be this is the only trickier kind of thing that you need to know if you're a MATLAB programmer. So first, let's just did you write this?
Yes. It's,
okay, so is it on your directory?
Exactly.
So you wrote this in. You didn't write this directly in the MATLAB GUI, right? And then you run it. But this I didn't do. Is this a script that you have to?
Yes, it's
write an mscript or script. Okay, so what did you call this? You call it inf test. Okay.
yeah.
So Jorge wrote this script, and I'll show you now exactly what this is for. I'm just going to copy it to. Let's copy that to our directory as well. And where is it, Jorge?
Neuro is in my
Neuro users
Jorge.bernal
work
for
stuff.
and files. Reading files. And files. Yeah.
Yeah.
Invest. That wrapper.
Okay.
So you have your actual script, the one you want to run in the cluster, and a wrapper, which is the MATLAB script too.
Okay. Does this make sense? What I'm doing over here right now? And you guys know that you don't have to type in every single letter. You can just that, right? Just to be sure. So I'm going to copy that file to here being the dot, and I press enter. And now if I do ls, I'll see in this directory I've got two files.
This is
Sorry?
MATLAB related to, but
No.
so when you write a MATLAB script, you get your file is .m.
Yes.
What is the wrapper?
I'll show you now.
And the
Can you give
permissions
us
again.
Oh. Okay, no, this is the okay. Let's see what the permissions are.
So the wrapper is very simple. And it's MATLAB code. It's not saying. Which I think it's an easy way to use it because it's all everything is
Is wrapper the name of the sort of converted MATLAB code into that, or not that?
Well, the wrapper,
Without using that.
Okay, so type.
Well, the wrapper is just a file that receives the strings and convert them to numeric values to pass them to your actual strings.
Okay, so type this
Because the
instead.
compiler receives a script that only receives strings.
So it's like the intermediate step.
Yeah.
Because your actual script
You can have it closer.
so it receives numeric values.
Yeah, come a bit closer.
Ratios, and the size of the page.
So this is, I just changed the permissions on my little local copy of it. So I'm telling you, just copy my one instead of the one on your whole paste directory. So that's why it says Rudolph. Oh no, but do this one because I can't change the permissions on yours, right? Because it's one.
Here we can copy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just saying that
So we just get the facts.
to compare string inputs to numeric values. Your actual script takes inputs to numeric values. But when you, so for the purpose of compiling the script, you need to write a wrapper that only receives strings. And those strings will be converted to numeric values before calling your actual script. Yes, you look
This
at
one?
this inside the script.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, hang on.
List, this guy, list.
Oh,
Okay.
there we go. Now try it.
List, this one. Well,
Now it works. Okay. Did it work?
copy it first. Then copy it again. Well, you don't need to write again the full. That's the. Then you can do this. Yeah. Text.
Okay. So
Now, if you type less, this. Yeah. Yes. You can see hold on. You can see the only thing this script does is convert the string. This is str to double. This is my another function that converts string values to numeric. And then you call it the actions with numeric values.
all right.
Also, I have added this to save the file in an output file, so you can actually read the output the results.
Okay. So should we? I'll give it another explanation again about why there's this little roundabout shim in the middle of what it's explaining. But all right. So let's open MATLAB. But don't type the whole MATLAB because that's going to do the whole GUI and it's going to take forever. So we'll do the shortcut, which is just to say M, which means don't open all the GUI stuff, just do it in the terminal. And we'll say M minus V 2014A. So which version to use? And then we just press Enter, and now it's starting MATLAB. And it's much quicker to do it like this. Okay, now we are already at the prompt. And MATLAB is now waiting for us. And if I type ls there again, so MATLAB actually understands very much the same kind of terminal commands as that the terminal understands. So it understands ls, it understands cd, it understands all those, a lot of them. Okay, so what we want to do now, so the reason Jorge was explaining what's going on with these, why do we have this additional little wrapper thing there? Do we need it? Well, you don't need it if you have written your initial program, your initial MATLAB script, to only take strings as inputs. So if you're not doing a MATLAB program, if you're not a MATLAB programmer, then this is kind of irrelevant to you. But the way the compilation works is that whatever script you want to compile, whatever you want to compile, it can only work if all of its input arguments are strings. So if you write it from the beginning to accept strings as inputs, then you don't need this intermediate thing over here. If however you use this MATLAB script in other things, and you don't want to change what its behavior is, you have to write another one that just kind of sits above it, which the compiler is going to use. And this one will take its inputs you give it, the string inputs, and convert them to what this guy wants. And that's the only reason why we have this intermediate.
It's also useful usually to save the results too.
Yeah. So this is what. So we can see over here. This is in MATLAB. So this script that we have wants two arguments: a matrix size and the number of loops, and those are integers. So the wrapper you write to be almost the same thing, except make it it wants a string, and then here's just an output file that's going to create as well. So and the first thing it does, it just converts whatever you gave it from a string into a number, and then it calls the whole thing that you want to do with what it needs. And then, what are you saying over here? Okay.
The variables, the results, AM, and it's
okay.
what I said, that it's useful to save the results too.
Okay. All right. So it's saving this in the MATLAB. All right. So now we've done this, and now in MATLAB to compile it, we just type this. So let's do that. Let's say MCC space -m space -b.
The minus I is not necessary because you have everything in the same path.
So if the file is somewhere else in a different directory, we would have to say -i and tell MATLAB where to find it, right? But since we're already in that directory now, we don't need to, so we'll just skip that. And then the file we want to compile is inv test.wrap. And again, MATLAB will also, if you hit the tab, it will also autocomplete just like the terminal does. That work for everyone?
Yeah, it takes some time.
Did everyone press enter or what? Yes. Okay, so now it's busy compiling it to a.
I don't know why sometimes you get the no protocol specified. For example, they didn't get that, but she got it.
Let me see.
It's like something like no protocol specified.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
The other machine didn't have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's. It's because you're using X2Go, and
We have our MATLAB
it's trying to go back to whatever. You don't have to worry
just a table which doesn't depend on MATLAB anymore. Just one file you can run on any database.
Okay, so now we just
So
wait.
you don't need MATLAB to be installed anymore. After you can just run this file with a MATLAB. So you don't need a license for MATLAB.
How long does it take?
Yeah.
So just
Sorry.
That's as tough as it gets. Okay.
Can we convert from
Another thing, which is a if you call the sequences, you just can wrap it for the full thing. What the other machine
Just
the MATLAB file that you want to compile, within that MATLAB file, you can call all your scripts.
so just the very first one. Is that what you're asking? You just need to do this like wrapper for the very topmost thing. You don't have to do it for everything underneath.
Whatever everything
No,
calls on.
no, that's fine. Just the very first one.
Use the function STR to convert to the base.
Oh,
Yeah, she gets an error. Oh, all of the same error.
Yeah, right there. Java phone? Java is good.
so it just work.
In your case, more perfect. This this is how it should work.
Yeah, so
They got some error with something related to MATLAB.
oh, Java thing.
Sections one of it.
That's great, right? Yeah.
So maybe you need to start MATLAB. Sometimes MATLAB catches.
Oh, all right, well, let's not worry about that. Let's assume it worked for everyone for the purpose of this exercise. So if it worked, it would have looked like this. And it's a and if you type ls, now remember we had this one and this one, and now it's created a whole bunch of extra files for us, including this thing called run invert test graph.sh. So now you're in business. So now we're done with MATLAB. We can exit. Okay. So why don't you guys, let me just see what the permissions are, what I have here. I'm going to do chmod. Okay. So, where you guys just type in just press the up arrow key a couple times and look for this. Where was it? Oh well. Just find. I'm just going to suggest you copy the things my compilation created to your directory.
You can combine, right? No.
Yeah, but I copied.
So Rudolph Kinar, MATLAB, cluster.
So you see, it creates a script for you, a check script for you. You don't have to do anything. It only works on MATLAB. You only work on MATLAB. Which is fine if you are a MATLAB program, or you don't want to be switching to this shell or MATLAB. You just concentrate on MATLAB.
They are likely actually.
Yes. And this is what you need to run. So that changes.
So everyone's we're up to speed. Everyone is. So I just want to suggest you copy whatever my thing created to your directory. Have you done that, everyone? Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
But you don't need to put them right. Just see. Now we have to place nice stuff. Yeah, right now you need to source that FS. FS.
Oh, did you starting again, Bryce? Opening your terminal.
Yeah, so I think there is something wrong with your version. Because when you do .0-fs, you should have a good open.
Yeah, because of the variables or because of the
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we right now? Okay, so all that you need to do, Bryce, is just this. Just this one.
Later you can do what it says if you want by yourself. It says just try to add
To be counted with strings.
try adding the following lines so you can paste to this file. Later, by yourself you can do this. Just copy this and add it to this file.
Because that's CHP. Again, myself, the CHP dependency in the MATLAB file.
Oh, in her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super.
Just this one.
And put it inside the MATLAB's cluster here.
Okay, good. So if you press Control L on the terminal, Control L, everyone, Control L just clears it so it's nice and tidy. If you type ls, just verify that you see that. So everyone sees this when they do an ls. Yeah. Okay, cool. So another thing is now we started with something that would only work in MATLAB, this imtest.m. We had to write a little wrapper to compile it, but now we have, see these green files? So those green files can now run, and they can be run anywhere. So just as a quick test, let's just run them right now. We're not even in the schedule, just run them anyway. So let's just, don't worry about this.
What's the difference between the two of them?
Between the two of them?
There's two.
Oh, so this is a shell script. So this is, if you look at this, you'll actually, it's a program that MATLAB kind of wrote for you to run the thing. And the thing it actually runs is this thing called imtest.
So they can run.
And that's a binary file. So that's the actual, this is the thing that does all the work, right?
Yeah.
This is the thing that does the work. This thing is just allows you to run it.
And it sets up the environment.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so you need both.
you need, well, yeah, you need both, but MATLAB built it for you, so you don't have to worry. So whatever you told MATLAB to compile, it compiles and it puts this run in front, I guess. All right, so what you would do, how would you use it? Well, let's do this. I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to just paste it in here.
Yeah. Remember that your original script requires 2 parameters.
Yeah, so the original script, the original thing that we wanted to do, had only 2 inputs. The first input said how big is the matrix, and the next input said how many times to invert it. And so that's what these arguments are. So this means make a matrix of 10 by 10 and invert it 5 times, back and forth, back and forth.
And then the parameters 10, 5. You don't put any
Since it's compiled,
space. No, separate it like
It takes like,
and then the Russian function of put
which I have.
you're going to say
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
All
So it's in there and you should be able to run it and get access to it.
Yeah.
okay.
They should have
So if you press enter, then you'll see that. Did you run it? Did it work?
We did, but it didn't work because it compiled in your machine. So you use the pass, which it's called for like a boot up MATLAB or something, and then it said permission denied, and then wasn't able to run.
Oh,
Is there an error there too? Is there an error? Previously accessible file is now
Oh yeah, I think
accessible.
so. That's what I got too. Yeah, and same thing. I got the same thing. Then I got a little more, I guess.
oh, has disappeared.
That need any
Somebody move it. Maybe because you use it at the same time.
I don't know. Let's try it. Let me run it again. Previously accessible file is no longer, is now inaccessible.
You copy.
Is the MATLAB file has disappeared.
It's there. If I run it, I'm just trying one more time. If it doesn't work, it's fine. We can do another very quick test. All right, I don't know what's going on. This is probably because we were copying things back and forth. I'm not going to figure out why it's complaining about that. I mean, let's imagine it worked, right? It worked, yay, we're happy. We ran it on these computers. Well, actually, we ran it on the RC.no, but we didn't use the schedule. So now let's see how we would use it during the schedule. We'll just use most test load, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to test on the scheduler. Let's run, but we're not going to run this thing because it didn't work. We'll just run a dummy test program, and it's called Mars. What is it? Mars test load. And you give it any parameters?
Yeah. So you have to do a most batch.
Yeah. Okay. So minus what?
T. How much time you want?
10 seconds. Well, that's like 20. Okay. So we're going to run, imagine it's Mars test load space minus T20. Don't press enter yet. All right.
So usually we use this one just to test to make sure the cluster is working properly.
So if this example had worked, we would be actually doing this thing again. We would be running this thing again instead of this, and in the front we write Mars batch minus Q minus B. Okay, everyone gotten to this point? Don't press enter yet. All right. And now space and just do that ampersand. Okay, so the way it's going to work is we're going to have a race. We're going to press enter and then up. Okay, so I'm going to press enter. I'm going to press up arrow, do it again. Up arrow, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. If I type Mars Q, you can, oh, you already pressed enter, cool. So you can see they're on the scheduler. Yeah, so let's actually do a whole bunch. So, see now, as they're finishing, one of the other ones that I submitted, you'll see it says done, 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 done.
And the 20 is for 20 seconds, so it's an hour for 20 seconds, so you can put a bit more.
Yeah, so let's press up arrow again until the command comes back, and replace the 20 with a 40. So it'll do it for 40 seconds. And when you've done it, and now go crazy. Put like 10 of them in. Put a whole bunch, as many as you just feel like doing. Okay, just keep going. Go crazy. Put a whole bunch of them in. Yeah. So if I look at the queue now, there's a look at it. This queue is like filled with stuff. And if I say Mars Mon, here we can see how busy it's now becoming. And now what's happening is that the scheduler, we started probably on this machine, number 4. I think number 4 is RC.no. It actually took the jobs and put them on RC Russia, RC Goldfinger. It spread them out for us, and we didn't have to do the manual. And I will just wait. When it's all finished, it'll go back down. And that's it. That's it. Did you set the one? Yeah. So there it's running. We could look at the queue again. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. You can see we're all like interleaved.
What is the time period?
Oh, minus T, 40 seconds. It means it'll do that little test thing for 40 seconds, and then it'll stop. all that this program does, I don't even know what it does inside, but it just lives for however long you
So
tell it
that's
to.
specific to the test.
It's just, yeah, it's this minus T40 is just specific to this MOS test load. And they're all finishing, the ones I put in, and we'll see the clusters now. Oh yeah, most of them are done, a couple still left. And that's it. That's it. So we can imagine we ran that MATLAB thing we just compiled, and it would be the same. It would be the same effect, right? So that's why, of course, if you're using it like to analyze stuff, to analyze numbers, you can kind of understand now why you wouldn't use the whole GUI, you wouldn't use an interactive program. It has to be programs that you give them enough to start so they know exactly what to do. And they don't stop midway and ask you, what should I do now? What file must I open? Everything the program will need to run, you have to tell it in the beginning, in the very beginning. There must be no questions. It must know every single thing you could ever want to know, and then off it goes. Right.
So if you're running an analysis that takes like a week or something to do, and it's just one script that's doing it,
yeah.
You use this to start running the script. Will it change to different computers if it's sleeping a whole week, or once it starts, will it just stay on?
So in this sketch on this cluster with Mozix, yeah, it will. It can migrate. The scheduler can, if let's say it says this machine RC nodes are so busy, and while this script is there, but Russia is completely empty and not doing anything, it will move it to Russia for you. But there are some caveats. But yeah.
Can you specify the number of processors you're going to use for this schedule?
I don't know. We've never done that.
I think you can. Memory as well.
Exactly.
So there are a lot more options.
Yeah. So it can be. It can be. This is like the simplest thing. This Mars batch. There's a ton more stuff you can put in, but we don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Type almost Q this call right now.
Mars Q. Yeah, it's empty. Cool.
Thank you.
Any other? Yes.
Especially like with people running stuff not
Yes. Once it's in the if you use Mars batch to run your thing, then you don't have to worry about null path.
You don't have to.
Right?
Maybe with a new version of
Let's try it. Let's try a whole bunch, and I'll kill the
cluster.
Okay.
I think the nicest thing it does is it takes all the output and it sticks it in a text file, so you don't
Yes.
have to worry if like you got an error message and then something happened to your computer.
Does everyone know what Daniel's talking about? So if I open a terminal, right, and I do something like some program, I run a program, let's say it's sleep 10. So sleep 10 is a program that just sleeps, it does nothing for 10 seconds. So now it's busy running, we'll just wait. It should wake up, or it should return to the, there we go, now it's finished. Let's make it sleep 100. I'm going to just do this, Control-N. Oops. I have another terminal, and I'm going to say SSH. So RC Majesty is one of the new machines, one of the new ones. Okay, so I'm going to be back here. Sleep 100. Okay, now it's going to sleep for 100 seconds. If I go in this terminal and say sleep, there's the program running, sleep 100. If I kill this terminal for whatever reason, let's say I was at home and my connection died, my VPN died or whatever, I close that, and now it's gone. It was busy running, but the terminal in which I started it from, its parent, got killed. So all the children that it spawned, among them sleep, also died. So that's kind of inconvenient, like doing something for a week. That means you have to have this terminal window open. You close your laptop, and it's gone because then the connection is broken. So the way around that is you say sleep. Okay, let me open a new one over here. I'm going to go again. So I'm going to say sleep 100, and I'm going to say in front of it no hang. That means no hang up. What it basically means is that this child is not going to care what happens to the parent anymore. So I do that. And if this program, which sleep doesn't do anything but sleep, but if it was writing stuff out to the terminal, it would capture all of the output in a file with no output. So now let's see, if I go back here and say there's a child running, sleep 100. And now if I go back here and I kill this, it's still running. It doesn't care the parent type. So that's how you protect jobs that are going to run for a long time from breaking when it's something you didn't control. But I'm not sure if no flash.
I think the one from screen.
Screen?
Screen, when you fill the screen, it doesn't really kill the
Oh, okay.
jobs in the
I
screen.
haven't used that.
Did you see it the other day? We ran a bunch of things overnight because whenever I run something from home with the VPN overnight,
Yeah.
I always lose the connection because
Yes.
it times out.
Yes.
So it's really slow.
Yes.
So I think that's what.
Yeah, it should. I was just wondering if you need it.
sure.
Or not.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
we don't have to worry about
It doesn't
that.
work most batch properly.
Yes.
So you have to put most have with most batch. I mean,
Yeah,
it used to work fine, but the new versions of Mosaic, sure.
but it still wouldn't create.
You wouldn't create
file
an
of your
output
own.
file. So if you want to like force that always, then you would do that.
Okay.
But if you know, of course, you can also. This is Danielle's command, whatever you are running. You can always do this. That redirect. You know about that. That means, let's say, whatever this program would have written to the terminal, it's going to put into that file.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. All right. Anything else? Time for lunch?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's
So yeah, so definitely, guys, follow up about your network connection, because that's going to be a tenfold improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to do that a long time ago. Really body, my house. Repeatedly.
But, is that ID guys or something? I'll call them.
Thank you.
Just for everything.
Yeah, you can call me.
Yeah,
There's a help desk request. Is that what you did, or you called the person specifically?
No, you write the help desk request first, because then you get tagged. And then you have to, if you just call them,
You have to
then
respond.
They would have. Okay. Good point.
Yeah, maybe very fast. For us, this time it was very fast. It was one day, and as Rudolf said, it was just a switch, just push one button and you have 10 times.
Okay. It's much better.
So it might be the same for,
Difference.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.